You're listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast.
Hey, I'm Andrew, C1D Paintball, listening to the C1D Paintball Podcast. Finally, after us for the last few podcasts saying we're not going to talk about D-Day, but we end up talking about D-Day. We actually played at the Tippmann Challenge Commando Action D-Day 2024. It was yesterday. So we're still saying we got to get all our paintball stuff out of the car and cleaned up, except Jeff's stuff that I borrowed. I just leave that to go and fester in there. Joining me is Jeff, who I mentioned. Jeff.
Hello. Glad to be here.
We have, to confuse not only those listening, but those in the actual podcast, we have Mike.
Hey, guys.
And we have Michelangelo, Mikey.
What's up, guys? What's up? How are you?
Okay. So I wanted to start this podcast by just thanking the people that make D-Day possible. Dave and Marie, and for those of you who might not know, they own the field. They are Commando Action Paintball, which unquestionably is a world-class facility. You got Speedball. Michelangelo got all excited when he heard that. You obviously have Rec Ball. You've got Milsim, and yes, you even have Airsoft. World-class facility. They host the event because they enjoy the event. They pull out all stops. They have a great staff. Did a great job again this year. The organizers did well. The gentleman who, see, I'm bad with names. The gentleman who organized the event and the scenario did another great job. Was very tireless, unlike in the past where they had very good scenarios. He was active. He went on somebody else I'm going to thank here, the Maritime Paintball Podcast. He talked about it before. Bradley, and yes, the King of Paintball. And I got to call him the King of Paintball for a year because our Thomas Bork, unfortunately, it's a controversial thing, but he didn't come out on top. But the Kaiser will be issuing a video statement about that. But those two guys, they're a real podcast. They are a great podcast. We just shoot the shit about the stuff we do. You want to hear about the industry, what's going on and everything? All across Canada, even they've had people from around the world. That's a podcast to listen to. They hosted the event with the microphones. They did an awesome job. We had the Frontline Paintball Podcast, and their actual main man was the general for the opposite team. The thing about the Frontline is another outstanding podcast. They do a lot of stuff Ontario-based because I'd say Ontario is probably the hotbed of paintball for Canada. I know they got the most people, and they think everybody likes the fucking Maple Leafs, but they don't. But I want to thank them as well, and all the players that went out. I think something that was really great yesterday, and I'm going to ask especially the players, Michelangelo and Mike, who are on here. That's their first D-Day. It was very rare to walk by somebody in the field, like when you were going back and forth from getting respawn and that, just people fist pumping and that, just the positive energy. We had two YouTube people out at the event, and the reason why I'm bringing them up, you got Wolf and you got Nightmare. Wolf and Nightmare are two great players in a niche YouTube industry. They are very big, but you would know it talking to them. They genuinely love the sport, and there was an energy around them that was second to none. And I can't forget our general, Tonka, who, when I first met him about 3 years ago, and he was already playing paintball, but he started doing YouTube and he started hosting events to give markers for kids and players that needed it. His enthusiasm, his drive, and his genuine love of the sport is infectious. And he doesn't care if he wins or loses. Mm-hmm. I mean, he went out there and gave us a very inspirational speech because we played on his side. But everything he says is genuine, and he just radiates. Go out there and freaking do the best you can and have fun. And you guys know, and I think we can all agree, C1D, we're about going out having a good time. Yesterday was the first time we're ever, as this, because we grew so much in the past year, first time we went out there, and it's like, we go out here for fun, but it would be nice to go out and win. And we went out there and we won. I felt good for Tonka, and win or lose, we're going to have fun. But we came out on top yesterday, and it was just a great time. Like I said, it's not about winning or losing, but I actually felt really good for Tonka for winning that event. And, it was great. Now we're going to talk about it. Now we're going to do the show. And believe it or not, for those of you who listen to me and know I can ramble on forever, I'm going to give everybody a little time to talk here. We're going to go to the chat. We're going to go on the chat. No fun allowed, Connor wrote in the chat. So maybe we won't go to the effing chat. Yeah, they're on the radio. That is true. The Maritime Paintball Podcast are on the radio. That's where you can hear the king, because I got to call him the king now, our Thomas Bork. I got to call him the king. So the Kaiser will come up with an excuse for you. So I really want to hear from Mike and Mikey right now on 2 or 3 minutes on just your general thoughts of D-Day. What I want to hear right now is just the game. Like, explain to me, I guess, Mike, you can start off. When it started, what kind of surprised you at first? What really got your blood pumping? And maybe one thing that happened to you that right now, barely 24 hours later, kind of like resonates in your mind about the event.
Oh, just, boy, don't even know where to start. There was being mine and my wife's first time. It was just, wow. So overwhelming in a positive way. But anyway, I'll get right to it. We geared right up, and Sunday there was a little meeting there at the bottom of the hill right before we started, and the speech that Tonka gave, it just got us all so pumped up. And then the countdown was so fast it got there, and then all of a sudden, boom, we were running up that hill with the plan to get to that far right side as fast as we could. And we were running up that hill, and I heard Andrew behind us, get to the fucking bridge, get over the bridge, get to that right side. And I just saw all of our guys it's the more he yelled, the faster we got there. And then I heard him say, fuck yeah, let's go, we got this. And we just dug down, and immediately, without even being able to breathe, it was just warfare, just boom, boom on that right side. And it was overwhelming. There was so much going on, and it was just what I expected. It's mayhem. It was hot. It was hot that day, so we had to deal with that. But overall, we had a great day, and I think the thing that stuck out for me was just the awesome teamwork, and between the C1D, but like you mentioned, everybody on the field, no matter, just people you'd never seen before, digging down in trenches and just working together and keeping each other safe and having fun. It was just amazing, and just so many cool things happened. One that really stuck out for me that we still kind of are getting a little giddy about, me and my wife, was we were taking a little water break in the little command center, and Tonka happened to come in with one of the missions, and he opened it up, and it was a cipher mission, whatever you want to call it, a riddle. And there's 15 people in there, and he had read it out loud, and within a second, my wife, Miranda, came up and was like, boom, this is it. And he was like, oh, we got it, we got extra points for the team. Gave her a big hug, and radioed it in. We got those points, and it was just so cool. Out of the whole day, that was just like, wow.
That locked down
cool
our award
moment
for
that we
the
got to
best
share.
team on the Axis side. Miranda's quick thinking there.
Oh man, it was so cool, and like we were just so excited about it all day. We talked about it all day yesterday and today, and but yeah, that was one of the things out of many of that day that stuck out. But I could go on forever, but I'll pass the mic over to Michelangelo.
By the way, let me just remember, I thank the Allied General. His name's Patrick McGooey. So sorry about that, Pat. I don't think he's going to listen because he's got a real podcast, but it's Patrick McGooey was the Allied General. Really great. Another genuine great guy in the community. So Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
So what were your first impressions? What was the highlight of the day for you personally?
First impressions, I mean, it was a good high because you know when you try something for the first time and like you have so much hype for it, and then like the event ends up like meeting that hype or like passing it kind of thing, and like you just get like such a high off it. So that was definitely that was like my feelings about the event, just past my expectations. And my highlights were more or less just whenever I like get off the field to air up or get more paint, like hydrate up, and then I'd get back on the field. I'd always have like the commanders like give us a little like say like a little idea of what's happening, be like go in the forest area or push the battlefield because like we need more people there. And then just getting up that hill and digging through the trenches and trying to push the line, looking behind you, screaming at people to come over, and then just people running over, getting shot, and you're turning around shooting. It was just like it was fun, funny. It was like super wicked. Even like I came with my buddy Jesse. We tried sticky with each other, and like you get so in your element, and you're starting to crawl through like bush and like high grass, and you turn around, you're like, where did he go? And then he turns around, he's like, I don't know where he went, and it was just it was a blast.
Okay, well, Jeff, this is D-Day number. It's the second one you've done with C1D, but you've been to many big games actually. So, what are your thoughts and insights on what transpired yesterday?
It was just awesome. It was better than last year, simply because we had the number of guys we had. But there's a lot of there's more. Everyone's more focused on the objectives. Like not that they weren't before. I mean, like there's more of a everyone's feeding off of everyone else, and like having the jerseys and having the team represent. Like no matter where you went, you would look for C1D jerseys and can join them.
Mm-hmm.
And other people who weren't with us were going, okay, go with these guys. Okay, that's if they knew if they hooked up with one of our 2-3 guys or whatever, they knew they were going somewhere important or something to do that needed to be done. And it was just sort of everyone was more in sync. Everyone was more unified in purpose. Like not just you. Every game has these people. I'll go do this. I'll go do that. I'll just go wander around. Whenever everything was happening, there's always a C1D crew, a couple of guys there, other guys on the other side, supporting and flanking. We always had a presence no matter where you were on the field. And wherever that presence was, things were happening.
I couldn't agree more.
Like especially on at the beginning with the first push, and we went to the far right to take the woods. We got to the container rather fast to the bridge. And it flowed. It flowed. People took up their positions and we advanced. We got the slapsticks done. We sent the smoke in to cover. It just
see. Jeff mentioned smoke. We're 15 minutes in. I took you that long.
But it's true. Like we were trying to get those 2 slapsticks, and everyone went, we need a smoke. I went, oh wait, hang on. I got here. You take this one. You take that one, and we all threw and. We were able to cover 2 of the slapsticks with it, and people were able to get up and swap them. We couldn't get close enough for the third over in the far right of the tape line, but at the time we had 2 sticks in the beginning of the game. But overall, I think.
So, for me, are you done, Jeff? Because you know I'm really good at interrupting.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I didn't mean. Are you done, Jeff?
And,
no.
and just to give Jared's my son's perspective, he loved it. He said it was the most awesome time since he played it last year. This year was way better. He just loved it. He couldn't stop talking about it on the way home.
I posted a video
and whatnot.
I posted a video of us kind of putting the hands in the middle before the game started. By the way, you can tell which hand's Nevin because he's holding onto a beer bottle. But that's the truth, by the way. But you see Jared's face, and he's all in. He's all in, and that was great. I mean, I concur with so much out of what all three of you have said. You know, I was extra sweary yesterday, which is a lot for me to start with. So maybe I was telling you guys, you get over the fucking hill, get over the fucking container. But you got there. I have to
I
live
love it.
vicariously through your legs. So for me, I'm going to add on to what Jeff said. Well, Jeff, your moment. What was your big moment? I don't want to take your big moment. What was to you, or was it collective, or was there something that happened that really?
Well, it's mostly collective, but I think the big moment for me was we were at the second half and we had taken the town and we were securing the ridge, but they were coming up the ridge and they were right in front of the watchtower. You had that smaller bunker to the what would have been our right on the
Yep.
just where the road would come up from the beach,
That's right, near
and people
slapstick.
couldn't get anyone out of there. Yeah, and I hopped into the one of the bunkers into the pillboxes, and I'm just firing away. I'm getting, I got range on this. I got range. I can hit. They're coming. Yeah, no, I'm shooting them out. I'm shooting them out. Shooting them out. And I had used a new barrel this year, and I got really good range and really good accuracy. I'm going, this is great. Why didn't I do this before? And that was like the high point. I just like it was just going up. Of course, being the phenom going pop, 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 and I mean the pillbox was just reverberating, and then people were looking behind, going, "What the hell is coming?" It was just a really, it's like, yeah, this is it. This is my moment.
I want to reiterate
Oh,
to
yeah.
the people that are listening to this that think we're not a competitive team. We're a bunch of guys that go to a local field, a field we love, that a war zone, and we hack around. And the best games we have are the ones that things kind of fall into a little chaos, you know, where we forget to say when we talked about it last podcast. They slap your hand and kill confirm. They don't say if you're in or out. So you end up, you know, it's chaos reigns and team killing and joking and people falling on their ass. So when we talk about C1D being all over the field, at least for our side, it's something different for us. It's the first time we went out to be able to like, hey, let's go all collectively as a group, and you know, we can be a lot more serious. Yet I think as more serious as we were playing, we brought levity to the game because there was a rush at the end of the game that was a highlight for me as far as action. And I know Norm, Rob, and Thomas and Connor, who are all listening, they were a part of that push. And that was one of the highlights of me ever playing paintball. It was very good. But the real highlight, I had another thing happen. It's in the second half, and when I finish the video, the long video I make every year for this, I didn't fire too many shots in the second half. Yet it was one of the highlights of my paintball career. Usually careers, they pay you, and you don't pay them. But it was standing in the back about halfway through the town, and I could see kill hit in that area you're talking about, Jeff, by the tower, by the 2 tower there, the little bunker on the top. And he's laying fire on the tree line and kind of towards the middle. And I saw Michelangelo, and I could see C1D jerseys, and I think it was Nick, who was leaning over with a player, not one of our players, but he went behind cover with the guy, put his hand on his back. They talked, they pointed, then they laid cover in. I saw Mike talking with a couple of guys from Mirabel Paintball. And I saw Connor sitting back like Ken Dryden, leaning on his flag, waiting, going in and out. And I felt so good. I felt so good because I've been pumping this for a while, and you guys are my friends. I've known some of you for less than a year. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jeff for several years. And it's one thing when you have a hobby you enjoy yourself, like whether you read or, you know, I was going to say you paint, but you want other people to see it. But you want to share something. And I wanted to share that experience, and I wanted it to be a good experience. And Jeff pointed out people coming to us when there was 3 or 4 of us standing behind a bunker. and we're talking and we're telling bad jokes. We're literally telling bad jokes because we're 3 hours in and Nevin pops up. Well, I got to fucking bug Nevin. I love bugging Nevin. We like ribbing each other. And then other people walk up to us. It's like, what are we going to do now, guys? And it's like, I guess these guys don't know. We don't really know what we're doing. It just made me feel good that I want to think that part of the vibe we have, look, we weren't the whole team. We were an equal part of the team as individuals, but I think our vibe rubbed off on a lot of people. And it wasn't because we won. Because had we been down in the game and had more adversity, and we did have adversity we'll talk about after, I don't think it mattered. But it was standing there. In the second half, my video, I'm just going to be focusing on each individual player. I felt so good. I felt so good considering Connor and I started this a few years ago. It was just the two of us, and we had great fun. And I'm so proud and happy to play with my son every time I get a chance to. And if I didn't play with him, there would be so much lost to me personally. But seeing you guys do that, seeing you, Jeff, with your son, seeing Mike with his wife, seeing, like I said, it was Nick out just with a stranger out there, going out for dinner with everybody and seeing Rob and Norm, they brought their wives, and Rob had his son, the beautiful family he's got. And just, having a good time. And I do not want to sit next to Kill Hit too long again because the conspiracy theories he has, I haven't slept the same since that frickin' night. I like you, Sean. His name is Sean, not Kill Hit. But, man, you got to get off the deep, dark web.
He had me rolling that night at dinner. God.
Okay, so the game.
A lot of fun stuff.
So the game. I'm gonna try to sum up the game here. Okay, our side won. We won handily. But Pat and his team, they tried things, and like rock, paper, scissors, we countered. Sometimes, rock, paper, scissors is chance and luck. There are sometimes I got lucky. There are other times I think we were just a little more organized. Plus, as the game goes on, you can get demoralized. But at the start of the game, they had that tree line. A big chunk of us were supposed to get. And it was not looking good at all. And when I got headshotted and went back to the town, in the second half, we basically, the only place they could go was the first, off Hamburger Hill was the first row of trucks. That's what I saw when I went back. We were 15, 20 minutes deep in the game, and we were in a very, very poor position. And I'll give credit where it's due on the tree on the side pushing the forest out of the container. Wolf and Nightmare were there. They're great players, but there's a lot of great players in the game. But the literal audience they command, Wolf, when he talks, people listen. He doesn't even. I didn't think I saw him shoot too many shots. He was telling people where to go, and they were listening. Actually, there was one point in the game where Connor's there, and he's like, because he's running around like I told you guys, he runs around when he's a medic. But he's there, and he's got Wolf there, and he's telling me, he goes, I'm trying to tell him, let me know. They got to let me know when they're hit. And Wolf just barks this out, and you can almost see the people like standing at attention for it. But we ended up taking that tree line, pushing in the village, holding that, having your son, Jared, was behind two tires with a slapstick 5 feet from him, and shots coming from the tree line, and he would move. I said, "You good there, buddy? You good?" He had a smoke ready beside him. We held up in that round. The second round, Mirabel Army came out. They took the slapsticks in the forest. We went in the village. We pinched them hard. They gave us, this is how I'm seeing it, but they gave us a hell of a fight, but we had them pinned. So many shots from the woods. Mike's leg he's got a victory. He's got a battle scar from that. Sorry. And we held on. we gave them a few of our players because it was that kind of situation. They took their airstrike. We went back basically off that main part of the field, and we pushed them back again with a bagpiper on the field. The guy's got balls. And
That bag.
and at the end, you know, they were losing bodies. There's a lot of heat in that game. Everybody got really hot, and both teams were losing players. And we saw an opportunity at. There was a lot of people. Rob pointed it out. There was a lot of people at the bridge, so at the container bridge, just at the slapsticks beside that. And with about 15 minutes left, we said, "Hell with it, let's go, let's do it." It was double points the last half hour. Again, we're not in it to win, but it's like, well, you know what? Let's accomplish something. Let's finish this off on a high. I didn't think we could do it, and we did an epic finish to it. And in the town, everything was held back, and it was a great game. But we did find ourselves in a very, very poor spot. And after 20 minutes, if you tell me we would have had such a great game, fun-wise, yes, but results, we dug deep and we did it, and I think we had fun. Okay, so any other anecdotes? Any other turning points or things you saw in the game that just? By the way, I'm glad not too many people were on the beach. The beach is a sexy thing to look at, but there's not a lot of substance to it. What did you think of that, Michelangelo? Because I know a lot of speedballers think they're going to get behind a truck on the bottom of an angle and take people out. I did see you there at one point. Did you have any luck there or what?
Yeah, well, I got stuck. Like that was my highlight I had two highlights, and that was my highlight of the morning. So I was actually on the hill when Tonka like made a huge command for us to push, and I was one of the another one of the animators with I think the green jersey, and we ended up getting into like this trenchy area that was a bit ahead of Hamburger Hill, and he just threw a flashbang, and he made this crazy push, and I was like, what the hell happened? So like it was like all so fast, and then I ended up getting into like this small wooden box. I don't know if you know, like right in behind the cell tower. I was there trying to cover,
One of the bunkers.
I was just and I was killing people coming up the road. So then I said, hell of it. I'm like pushing. I'm just like in the moment pushing it. So I end up going down that road. Funny enough, I end up like finishing all my ammo. So like I'm like probably in like the worst place ever with like no ammo on me. This other guy, MagFed guy, comes up to me. I look at him. I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, this doesn't look good. Like, there's like the uphill right in front of us. I'm like, we're gonna get eaten soon. And I made him aware. I'm like, I have no balls on me. Takes a mag out, dumps it inside my hopper. He's like, we have 20 balls each left. He's like, just hold down this road till we can't anymore.
I love this.
And then after a certain point, there's like you said, like a bunch of speedballers just started coming at us, and like mag fed like got a med gun. I had my med gun out, and we're just trying our best. And like at a certain point, we both got headshotted. But it was just so epic. We're there. We're just like, yo, we got this. We got this. Taking his like mag out, dumping it in my hopper. It was like it was fun and funny at the same time.
I gave away a few balls, that's for sure, and that's part of the game. Digging in like that. Actually, I remember being with Mike on the side. We in the second half we went in the village, kind of in the top part of it by the container bridge. There's a bunch of reeds and a tiny little path that goes around, and we threw some smoke, Mike and I. So I think Mike, you're behind the barrels to the left, and I'm behind this little building, and we're looking out. And you don't experience this a small field like Warzone, but you look out and you just see a dozen shots. It's like a science fiction thing coming through the purple smoke. You just go, and they all whiz by. And you go like that, and we're just having fun. We're just looking at each other. Then all of a sudden, like, oh, Mike's got it right off his leg. I think that was a first strike. Oh, yes. First strike was not our friend yesterday. We had a great game, but I think collectively we got hit by a lot of first strikes.
Yeah, I think I can tell the difference too in the marks.
Especially in the woods on the far right, we were trying to keep that tape line secure, and then just because you can't angle as much except for the middle, so only the first strikes were actually getting through and hitting their targets. So that was a pain in the butt.
Okay, we got some comments here. Good point. Never thought we'd see the day where C1D was a single was a signal of hope on the battlefield, says Connor. We're growing very well. I sound like we're just kissing our own boots here. Jeff, you got to drag him out at least once this summer. He's talking about Jared. Jared's a good player and a really great teammate. Oh yeah, where the hell is Bear Hill? And Bear Hill, I don't think you guys here on the. Oh yeah, Jeff was there for Bear Hill. Okay, so
I heard about it.
Michelangelo, I guess, yeah, because I don't think he had a walkie. So this is the part where we're just starting to take the woods back in the first half, but it's still up in the air. And right after the bridge, there's these trees and there's a gully and there's a forest. And we got some enemies in the gully and the forest. So we're kind of in this little V thing. And Nevin's coming there and we're trying to find out information. And Nick's got these walkies. Very proud of the walkies. They came in very handy. And Nevin's talking about, they're at Bear Hill. They're at Bear Hill. And like me, Mike, rather me and Jeff and Nick, Nick's like, where's Bear Hill? I said, there's no Bear Hill. Where the fuck is Bear Hill? And Nick's like, I don't know, where the fuck is Bear Hill? And then I christened the spot Bear Hill. And then Connor's like, I christened this Bear Hill. So I think forever it's going to be Bear Hill, which we don't know where it is. He meant their hill. And it's like, there's a lot of hills in this area. So, and while this is happening, by the way, there's shots going over us, but it's like, that's okay. We got a medic. We're cool.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, they're in the trees over there. It's like, yeah, all right.
Oh, it is
a squirrel.
Some guy talked me into it. Yeah, there's the swamp there. Let's go through it and get to the container bridge. You know, it's the wet area there. It's a swamp area. And the guy points to me to go. And like an asshole, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go through this. So I got my camera, and I got my marker, and I'm putting the trees and all that, and I'm looking down. It's like, oh, there's just flat reeds there. Then my foot like halfway down, like, nah, we ain't doing this, kid. Forget it. Oh, did you guys? Okay, for the new guys, Michelangelo, did you pace yourself with the heat, or did you actually catch yourself maybe? No, yeah. Well, Mike, you played all day the day before as well, but it's a common thing. Jeff and I were at the tent a lot, but yeah, pacing yourself can be tough because the adrenaline keeps you going, right?
For me, it was more the hydration. I made the mistake the day before on Thursday. I only had like a liter of water on me for the whole day. And like come the end of the day, I like ended up feeling like complete, for better words, like complete crap. And like I felt faint and all that stuff. So the day after on D-Day, I made sure I had like 6-7 liters of water on me, and I was good for the whole day.
Driving back is the worst after that. I was alone. My legs are cramping up, and I was telling Jeff I'm going to put it on cruise control, but my legs are going around like I'm a freaking Irish dancer. And I'm listening to a podcast about ancient Rome that's going to put me to sleep. It's like, no, I don't want to die on the side of this Ontario highway. Granted, I had the trophy we got for being the best support team, so at least I would have died with that on my casket.
Yeah, probably petting it the whole way home.
You didn't have a tough time going through customs? It was nice and smooth? I think you guys got home like 10 minutes after me.
Oh, we killed it. We cruised home, no problems at customs, and I'm surprised that my wife stayed awake the whole time. Normally she crashes out about halfway home.
Oh no, she's one of those.
And she's a sleeper.
No.
But what I will say is just to sum the day up, we had so much fun. I'm an avid, like, I gotta be listening to music when I'm driving. It just keeps me, going, and I listen to it loud too. Not a big talker in the car. We realized that after we got home, or 10 minutes from home, I was like, I haven't turned the radio on once. We sat there the whole time talking about the weekend, and we didn't listen to music once, which is just normal for some people, but for us, it is weird. So, yeah.
Okay, for the noobs, for Mike and Mikey.
Safe.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did. You got home. Like I said, I think you might go home quicker than me. I got a message 10 minutes after.
I was surprised to see that as well.
Well, good for him.
For
Good for
once.
him on that. Because he always drives out so far to play with us in Rigo, and sometimes I complain it's 25 minutes, but it's nothing compared to him. Michelangelo, now that you've got 24 hours later, what's the two things you would tell a player playing their first D-Day next year? What that you didn't know prior to yesterday? Mikey, you want to start?
I don't know, just like what would I tell them? I just go out there, have fun. I guess is basically what I would say was just try your best, have fun, and play paintball. That's what I would say. And I would definitely say try the Woods Bali area because in my first part of the whole morning, I was like on the beach area, like the main area. And then after the second part of the morning, like the second part of the first part, I went in the Woods Ball area. And after that, I just stayed there the whole day. I was like, this is just too epic for me to like not play this area.
Hmm.
So I would definitely, for a
Yeah.
first timer, I would say go to the Woods Ball area and definitely enjoy the hell out of that experience.
Yeah, I agree with both of those things, and I would say definitely the advice I got to pace myself was definitely great. Besides that first push, I mean, pushing up and just killing ourselves, but we got that position, so that's all that matters. But we basically paced ourselves throughout the day for the rest of the day. So I would, hydrate, pace yourself.
Water,
Would be the
lots of
first.
hydration.
This would be like the first thing I would tell anybody. But just basically like your net is like Mikey said earlier, you can have all these expectations of it. You could look at all these pictures, you can have all these people tell you about it, but you're gonna be blown away. Like you're gonna be thinking it's here and you're gonna end up here, like no matter what, you're gonna have a blast. So
Now, one thing
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask Jeff, since he's done multiple D-Days, is the slapstick placements in the village and the top of the beach were the same, basically the same, maybe a few feet difference.
Yeah.
But there was 4 in the forest, all extremely, I would say, what, maybe 30, 40 years, 40 years, 40 yards apart total. And
Yeah.
it
They were all
effectively,
open.
it was all open. So instead of the top of the trees, so I'm using my hands here, but if you think, instead of like having an area in the northwest where there's a line of people, there's a battle line there, the front line, and then on the east of the map there's another one. It kind of was like an L, well, more like kind of an S. There was one continual big line that started at that container bridge through there, and you didn't see the forest was great, but do you? I just thought it was more concentrated in an area where it normally isn't, which was a good curveball.
Yeah, you're so used to, like, before each slapstick had both sides had like a marshalling point where you can sort of gather and then push off from there. You get smoke in, or you get your runners to try and get it, but this one is more spread out, that you actually had to. You were more exposed, more risk of getting taken out, making your way to the slapstick, until we found out about the rule change with the momentum.
Yeah. Okay. If I start talking about that, look, it was an extremely well organized thing, and I respect. They tell you what the rules are when you're there, and I kind of missed the opening briefing. But even had I heard it, that's the rule. Mike, could you explain it? Because you could probably explain it without using as much profanity.
Vanity.
You know the rule that they had with the slapstick, right? That if you were, what happens if you're
yeah,
shot?
the momentum rule. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically as long as you were moving forward, not flinching, not stopping, you were able to just keep going for the slapstick and basically, not be out. As long as you were moving forward, not flinching, you could get hit as many times as you want. That's what I gathered out of it.
Yeah. Well, Connor and I discussed
That's
this.
very much how it played.
Yeah. And Connor and I discussed this, and we thought it was a great event. We thought, though, for all the slapsticks, that's a little Look, Nevin took 3 slapsticks doing a run around. Look, everybody who had 5 or 6 guys, who came with at least 5 or 6 guys, you always got 1 or 2 guys that are willing to do it. Hell, I did it at the end of the game for one.
Yeah.
Nevin went and did 3. It's like, you know, hey, Nevin, you want to do something cool? Run and do that. And he'll do it. He captured all 3.
Oh,
We thought maybe, because, you know,
but
there's
not every
obvious
team has an Evan.
slapsticks that you take. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 that changed asides all the time that's applicable. Because there was one point where a guy was running for the slapstick by that the mound, the heap of brush they had cut. And I saw him coming, and I waited till he was within good range because, you know, normally it's one shot. And again, it's my fault. I didn't hear them say the rules because I didn't get to the stage in time. But so I started popping him, and he wouldn't die. And I hit him about 3 or 4 times. Had I known about that rule, I would have just started firing as much as I could before, and hopefully he would have, you know, done whatever. But we had to bring it up.
So when you're sprinting, you have to aim at the thighs.
It's
Go
true.
for the thigh.
Yeah.
Inner thigh hit, and inner thigh
got a
hit,
good
and
one
they go
there.
down. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Chop him down at the knees.
I got good.
Oh, damn. Almost
There was a
forgot.
really cool moment.
Mhm.
Oh, there was a really cool moment. I think it was in the first half. Yeah, it was in the first half, and we were in the village towards the end. And the other Thomas, or the he popped the yellow smoke, one of those double-sided yellow smokes, and he goes, "All right, guys, let's go, let's go, let's go." And he just held it over his head, marker down, just walking with his head down, smoke just billowing up above his head, and I was just running behind him. And we went up, and he hit that stick, and he just dropped that smoke, and we were like, "Fuck yeah!" And then we just walked away. So, like, that was one of the times where I got to see that rule like play out and work so well.
Yeah, I saw that on the side of the field, but I was confused because in previous games and other games, the yellow smoke has always been used as mustard gas, and you don't go near it. It's sort of their way of doing airstrike by clearing a field with it. You see, like that's when you might have heard people saying when you see the forerunner coming and there's yellow smoke, run because they're about to do an airstrike or they'll do a gas strike, and they'll just spread yellow smoke to represent mustard gas. And so when I saw that coming, I'm going, "Wait, what's he?" And I didn't know it. Are we doing mustard gas this year? I have no idea. You know,
How much?
just walking?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it used to be like also like I said. Usually, the yellow smoke was only used by the refs, and it usually represented mustard gas and a way of letting the players know that area is now a dead zone.
Ref
like-
did a
Yeah, I do
yellow
remember
smoke
that
happening
airstrike in the
twice.
village. Yeah, Rob mentioned in the chat there was
Yeah.
an airstrike. We hit them hard to start the second half, but I think we had to because you take the mentalities. We knew we had a leg up on them, and we wanted to just maintain that. And they did do an airstrike, pushed us probably 2/3 back on the village. It confused a little bit of people there, but everybody has to get back at the same time. I think that the other
brought to
team
the,
didn't
the
take
ref
the
down.
opportunity to rush up in time, unfortunately for them. But yeah, again, the other team did. We gave it to them in the end. We won, but it wasn't that they didn't try. It's we won some of the gunfights. Some of them, like I said, luck, and I can't overemphasize that. But it was a good game.
They fought hard the entire time, but I want to say they gave a lot in the beginning, and they might have just wore themselves out just a teensy bit. They didn't pace themselves as much as we did. Because I noticed, they were just a little slow coming back from their respawns towards the end, and we just had such a brutal force in that village that
Yeah,
I don't think there was anything they could
It was like insane.
well, Jeff,
Just heavy fire the entire way.
you've seen a lot of paintball. Had we not had they maintained that side in the forest in the first half, they could have taken all 4 slapsticks.
They could have, but like I said, they made a slight error. Like they put too many men on what would have been our far right by the tape line. They were hoping to come around, but we had them really stymied at that point, and we had good coverage over by the container bridge, by the bunkers and the barrels, to cover the two slapsticks that were by the brush pile and about midfield. So they were trying to move forward a lot more, but they just couldn't. They couldn't get past the ridge to get without getting taken out. Like they just didn't have like, the speed for it. Like they were too focusing on trying to do a flanking maneuver, and we're not getting because we had Connor there at that time. So whoever's getting taken out, they go back 3 feet. Connor taps him, wipes him down, put him back in, and whatever gains that they thought they had, they've lost because all the guys are now back in place, returning fire again. And they end up getting sent back, and they didn't have a medic with them on that at first, with them on that far side.
Yeah, it's
They finally
Medics
got a medic
won
up.
the
They
game.
finally got a medic from the town to come up. I saw the flag coming in the distance. We couldn't get him out of range, but we saw the medic finally running up to try and back and support.
Yeah.
That's when they had a little bit more success. Was once they got the medic on their side on the far right.
I'm not going to criticize how a player plays, especially a medic, because they're obviously in better shape than me. But at one point along the top of Heartbreak, what do we call it? Hacksaw Ridge, that we had the famous battles last year. The medic was there. I guess he was signaling he was there, and he was going back and forth with his flag. I guess trying to get his teammates' attention, but he got our attention, and we longballed him from there. But who knows? I would be really curious here. Our medics, you could have 3 medics. We only had 2. There was the taller gentleman with the long reddish hair, and him and
They
Connor
were
get
swapping out.
yeah. They get big thumbs up on that. And I'm not cutting down the medics on the other side, but we had good activity. Actually, Mike,
they were busy. We were making them very busy.
Yeah. Mike, what did you think about that first push where you're literally crawling along this rope line like proper army crawl, and like people giving each other
That's
pods,
what I
Connor
mean.
sliding and tagging people, and
That is what, like, so in my head, when I was going into it and I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, war, this is going to be like war. That's what I pictured in my head, was us running nonstop until we got head to head with the enemy, digging down, keeping your head down, crawling, rolling, doing whatever you had to do to not get hit. And then, yeah, I remember being at the front at that point in that first push, and I saw Connor, a couple barricades behind, and then boom, I got hit. And then another guy who I accidentally called Babe. He was another C1D. I'm not sure who he was. I was like, "Oh, Babe, am I hit?" And he's like, "No, but I'm not your babe, but I can be."
Yeah, prove now.
And then I was like, "Oh, this is the moment," because I was waiting for the medic, because it gets you so pumped up, and that's what happened. I heard, medic, and then Connor came up and he got me, and just right back at it, and it was exactly what I expected plus more. Yeah, he was an MVP that day. Just everywhere.
Well, I want
But
to
yeah,
talk.
it was just like I anticipated, just like I dreamed.
So Rob and Norm, that last push at the end, Rob is the one saying, we got to go there. There's 2 slapsticks. We can get them. Let's do this. And the look on it, like he wanted to do this. And I don't know about what Connor thought, but I'm sitting there thinking, we're walking up that road between the forest and the swamp to take those things. It's like, we had them pinned on the hill, but I knew there was a lot of enemies there. And it's like, okay, there's only 15 minutes left. We're going to get killed. We're going to get the medic Connor killed, because this is a bad idea. But the smokes came out. Rob runs up to these 3 barrels, either a combination or either of just he thinks he can do it. The ignorance of, no, man, you shouldn't go there, but he doesn't know that. Just sheer will. He gets in there, starts throwing cover fire. Norm runs up behind him, and it's like, oh shit, I guess we're doing this. And they were so into it and pumped. And when we got that, I went and I ran, and I did the rule that I'm going to get hit anyway. I don't break momentum. Them, along with Conrad was behind us. Antoine was there. I was so happy to see Antoine there. They threw so much cover fire. They sent the other team down. The other team probably had up to 24 guys, like right there, not in the vicinity, but right there. And I went and got the slapstick. If they shot at me, they're either have the worst aim possible, but the real reason I think is because we had such good cover fire. And when I went back around, they were going for the slapsticks, like even closer to the enemy front line. And so I got Conrad behind me. He's 55, you know, and it's like, I guess we're doing this. And like we won the Stanley Cup, and I hope the other team did. The other team wasn't even there. We pushed them back through the container. When the game ended, we embraced like we'd won the Stanley Cup, or somebody, instead of the game is over, said the war is over. And it was such a rush. But I remember Rob and Norm, they drove that. They wanted to do it. They wanted this. And by sheer will, maybe slight luck and ignorance about you really shouldn't do that, but hell with it. You go in there, do it. And I learned something from it. And that's the game in a nutshell there. Yeah, I do talk too much.
I never thought I could see someone grinning through a mask. But when you guys were coming back from that push, guys, from ear to ear, I could tell like the mask would raise a little bit because you guys were smiling so much, and you guys walked back like you just like owned everything.
Yeah. Well, we were doing it, and it was that last little corner I told you about where it's like we shouldn't go there. We heard 2 minutes. It's like, yeah. And literally 1 minute, and it's because we got the slapstick. 1 minute, it's like, you know what? Let's get him off the fucking bridge. We're just laying it out there. And Conrad threw this massive white smoke in, you know, the gully there. There's the gully to the, I guess Jeff might know it better. He knows the field.
The cloud maker. Yeah, the cloud maker. He threw that. Yeah.
He threw that in because they were coming
all game.
Yeah, he went. The players were coming down through the gully to try to support the bridge. We threw that down, and we're just right in there, and we just see him running out. And it was like, yeah, this is good. Actually, I think I've got Connor.
Magic moment.
Connor said, "Holy shit!" when he saw them pull that smoke out, and I just wondered how he ran around all afternoon with that in his pocket. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Geez, what is there to say? Look, again, it's not win or lose. It's go out there and do what happened. I'll let us each have like a part of thing to say. The only thing I want to say is how I mean, I guess I was very proud of you guys, but I just wanted you to go out there, have fun. And when I saw how interactive you were, how people came to you, how, you know, the neck, the hand on the shoulder, asking people for help, I'm seeing, you know, it just made me feel so good to see those names and people actually coming out to us and all that. And I'm perfectly happy going to Warzone every second weekend and just hacking around. But wow, you guys are pretty good. And by no means were we try hard. We're just going out there and doing what we're doing. And I heard quite a few great jokes on the field because we're just having a grand old time and really not giving a shit. And funny enough, we came out on top. I want Jeff to have the last word. That's a very big position. So let's talk to Michelangelo. What are your what's your parting statements on D-Day as we wrap it up and look forward to next year?
Death to the bitches.
Oh, the guys at Commando would love you.
I'm going to draw mine out a little longer, unless you got anything else you want to say.
Go for it.
Michelangelo dropped the microphone after that one. Death to the bitches, drops the mic.
Yeah.
I got it now. So yeah, I had a blast. We learned so much with it being our first year going into it. We had a lot of, you know, great info coming into it, but you're not going to learn, you know, anything like going to it. So we learned a lot. We got a lot to work towards next year, you know, to make things easier on ourselves and different setups and just planning. And overall, we're really excited for next year. We just can't wait to go back. So, yep, that's that.
Actually, Jeff, I want you to say something, and then I want Thomas, Norm, and Rob to write something, just one or two lines, kind of, if they're actually listening or they're just lurking, kind of like what we're doing here to wrap up their thoughts on it. But Jeff, would you like to lead into that?
Sure. What I thought was awesome about this D-Day, like I played quite a few other large, big games and other different challenges and whatnot, but there's always been a lot of clickiness amongst the teams that are more familiar players that know each other on the field, and they tend to do their own thing. But this year with C1D, like whoever was with us when we were doing it, we come with us, come. We were including everyone, like not just our own teammates and what, but I mean, anyone around us for what we were trying to do. Come on, we're gonna come with us, and they're going, okay, yeah, we'll go with you. And it was just we were inclusive to everyone who was there, not just like it wasn't like a team thing. We're going to do this together. It was us against everybody. Like that's what was missing in a lot of other games. Is like you see like not to put any shade on Mirabel Army or anything, but I played at events where they've been there. There's other teams that are a little bit more militarily organized. I cannot remember the name for the life of me, but that was like 20 years ago. They were all very cliquist, and like if you didn't play with us or you didn't play at our field, we don't have time for you, or just you're going to be in the way. But with our guys, like everyone was just like, come with us, come. We'll do this together. We need each other. We need everybody. Are you all right? I've seen guys swapping pods of paint back and forth. I'm out. Like, here, take my pod. Don't worry about it. I got 2 more cases back in the car, kind of thing. So everyone was doing what they needed to do to get the objective done, regardless of who they were and who they were with or who they signed up with to be there to play that day. And it was really, really great to see that. That kind of camaraderie and focus of purpose.
Very well put. And what he just mentioned, for those of you who might actually be listening that don't play with us, that's what we do at Warzone. We get kids coming in to play, first timers. Michelangelo, you brought your dad. You got to bring him out again. And we just
soon.
Even Mikey, you had your friend play with us yesterday. He's like, "Can I play with you guys? Are you a dick? No? Oh, sure." Just go have fun.
One question. Are you a dick? No.
Okay, we got Rob here, wrote, the feeling of camaraderie and being part of something bigger was what made this day for me. Our team came together and showed up who C1D is. Felt like a real underdog story. It's an honor to play with all of you. Very well put, Rob. I mean, I kind of didn't say it, but when I was talking about watching you guys do all that, it kind of, I got a little choked up over it. I felt great that we built this thing. I don't know what most of us do for a living. We got Thomas is typing something, so I'm buying some time here. You don't have to tell me what you do for a living if you don't want. You don't have to tell me anything about your life outside the field. Maybe you go to the field to escape that. That's all I care about. Just go there. We'll have fun. We'll be kind to each other because life's too short. And that really made me feel great. That was the best part of it for me. I know Rob's going to say the push at the end. That was pretty badass. But Thomas and Norm are going to type to wrap this one up again. And the one thing I didn't talk about that maybe we'll have a discussion offline in our Discord is, I can't play too many big games here, but in my opinion, this is the big game unless we're going to Europe. But I know the guys. We can play a lot of
20% passes.
Yeah, but Nevin says he's good to go today, and somehow I actually believe him.
Lies.
Okay, we got Norm here.
No.
Honestly, had an absolute blast. The whole weekend was an absolute vibe. I love playing with you at Warzone, but this was next level. It's an absolute honor to play with every single one of you. Very well put, and I concur. Thomas is typing now, and he did mention the vibe. Best push in the history of paintball, possibly. Yeah, I think it was just that good vibe. Like, yeah, we're goofy, but you know what? Let's We got some crazy ideas. Come with numbers and blame it on us. We have a gentleman, Santiago, who is a part of our Facebook group. He doesn't really reply too often. He just likes things. He played with us D-Day last year. He played with us D-Day again this year.
Yeah.
Really good player, nice guy, well-spoken, knows a lot about paintball. Great teammate to have. And, at the end, it's like we all got to come up and won this award. It's like, yeah, everybody come up. Santiago, everybody come up. You're part of this group, even if it's twice a year. Oh, long live the Kaiser. We forgot that one. I've created a monster.
Oh, that's cool.
We've created a monster. I guess Thomas stopped. Oh, Thomas is going back and forth. He's taking his thesaurus out. Anybody, by the way, I would love, I know we don't get too many people listening that aren't part of our group, but I would really love to hear comments of other people that played with us or against us. And I saw a lot of you guys, in particular Mike on Facebook today, liking a lot of posts for people that played on both sides on D-Day and that. And it's great to see that whole community like that. And just a lot of kind things. I gave away the rest of our swag yesterday, by the way. I had a bunch of it. It's like, well, I don't need this. Let's spread it out there. So.
Oh, and I saw the smiles from everybody when they had them too, when they were getting them. There
you go. Well, Tonka got one, and he's putting it in his chiropractic, his doctor's office. It would only have been more fitting had it been a proctologist. Okay. Thomas is going to close this one out.
People.
Oh, my proctologist. What an asshole. No, Thomas writes, we have a good thing going on. I had a feeling we were going to do well on the field. I'm really glad that everyone had an awesome weekend. You know what? It's well put. I knew we were going to have an awesome time. We performed well. That didn't surprise me per se, but I think we rose to the occasion and just had fun. And there were a lot of really good groups out there. The other team had the Ottawa SAS, that are a very good group at their home field. And maybe this is one of those situations, lightning in a bottle, that if we did the scenario 99 times, those guys would kick our ass. But you know what? We got the one. But we had fun. The fact that we were able to, lucky enough to win that award in that, and there were a lot of teams that could win it in that. It makes me feel good because it's just about going out having fun. And yeah, they have to break up the team next year for it.
That was a beautiful moment.
That was a great moment. That's the pictures I want to see. All right, guys. I'm going to be working. I keep saying, last year I did the video in about 7 weeks, and this year I said 6, but I think I'm going to spend every waking hour trying to pump this one out here. All right.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Thanks for listening. If you're watching this thing on YouTube, thanks for watching. And we're back to our regular Warzone shenanigans coming up, including a 1v1 mini tournament that could get heated. Are we supposed to leave on drama, right? It could get heated.
It's going to get ugly.
Michelangelo, Jeff, thank you very much for being here. Thomas, Norm, Rob, we had Nick for a while. We got Connor next door, who probably just wants me to be quiet because he's heard every word and he wants to go to sleep. Remember, go out there, have fun, be kind to each other. Don't be a dick, you'll figure it out. Good night.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.